stay in your home pretty please.
That's Governor Cuomo urging people to obey the travel ban in Erie County as the National Guard is deployed in an unprecedented way to help people dig out from this historic lake effect storm. The state of emergency continues in many areas hit hardest by the lake effect snow, and round 2 is well underway right now.
Now, so far, 8 people have died as a direct result of this massive storm that has hit western New York this week. Some of those people have died while out shoveling snow. Let's get started now with our team of meteorologists. They're here around the clock. Andy Parker, Autumn Lewandowski, Aaron Mikowski, all here to break it down what's going to happen from this point forward.
It certainly does feel like a 24-hour job, but that's our job. The weather never sleeps, and neither does the 7 First Alert weather team. Autumn, we've been watching Doppler today, and some wobbles in there, which is not good news for the South towns.
Not at all. Some of those hardest impacted that from the first weather event are now going to be impacted once again. As we take a look at 7 First Alert, our Doppler screen on 7 Super Doppler, we're going to notice where this band is, and as it's coming in from Lake Erie, just to the north of Dunkirk, zooming in a little bit closer, it's now moving past that Hamburg line in the southern portions of Orchard Park, moving into, again, those hardest hit areas, West Seneca over towards the northern ends of Orchard Park. 3 inches per hour or even more at times in some of these locations. So it's impacting Blaisdell once again, getting closer towards West Seneca. Elma and up towards Lancaster will possibly see that northern fringe come on in once again.
So the blue sky that you've enjoyed, if you've spent some time in West Seneca digging out a little bit. Now, you're probably not going to get a long duration hit, but these wobbles will bring a burst of snow, and it looks like that will come up to about Clinton Street, not necessarily downtown Buffalo, but boy, that dark edge of the clouds. You can see out over the lake. Point Abino is that piece that sticks down out of southern Ontario. You can see just beyond that how the lake effect drops off. So this will be a short-term burst. This is not a long-term situation, but it's still enough that it'll stir up the snow that's already on the ground. You can expect whiteout conditions moving back into those northern south towns. And
even want to mention with Hamburg and Boston, Colden, all those areas that have been impacted over the past several hours at that 2-3 inch rate. 2 or 3 inch an hour rates are still going to be impacted by it as we go into the next several hours.
Yeah, well, the middle south towns are not going to get rid of this until probably close to the dinner hour tonight. It's something that's going to linger in central and southern Erie County until later this evening. Once Aaron is in, he's going to track that. And fortunately, the end of this part 2 of lake effect will come to an end by the time we get to maybe 11 o'clock tonight.
Yeah, exactly. And in a little while, we'll kind of go over where this band is going to end up, when it's going to actually come to an end as well.
You got it. Right now, we're going to send it back over to the news desk.
Governor Andrew Cuomo spending the night here in western New York assessing the situation and updating the media just about an hour or 2 ago as people are trying to dig out from this once-in-a-lifetime lake effect snowstorm.
7 Eyewitness News reporter Rachel Elzevon live in Cheektowaga right now with the latest update. Rachel.
Well, good afternoon, Keith and Laura. We just heard recently 2.5 hours ago from Governor Cuomo, and then we just heard a few minutes ago from Erie County Executive Mark Poloncarz, along with high-ranking Erie County officials, of course, talking about that 8th death that you mentioned earlier. They're trying to get a lot of messages out there as that snow is getting ready to hammer those south towns. They're saying it's moving on northwards to some of the towns that are still seeing some of the most damaging effects, I guess is the best way to push it from this. That 8th death, a 60-year-old man who had been pushing a snowblower. They said that man had a history of cardiac issues, and they want to stress, do not push yourself. If you live in the area where the snow is packed up that high, you're not going anywhere anyway. They're also urging people to follow this travel ban. Erie County Executive Mark Poloncarz adding that he actually driving around in one intersection saw multiple vehicles this morning, that there is no reason for that. If you head out on the road, there's a good chance that you will get stranded. Of course, there are a lot of other concerns as well with the structure of the buildings. They are seeing the start of roof collapses. They have responded to some of them. You heard them talking about how they were at one business. They got calls concerning another business. We actually spoke with firefighters that were at mobile homes earlier this morning as well, trying to evacuate evacuate people, saying that some of those roofs have already caved in. Now, I did actually just speak with the undersheriff as well to see what you should do in case you are worried about a roof collapse. He said if it's just something you're wondering about, but you don't see anything wrong with your roof, you should call maintenance crews. However, if you see stress fractures, if you actually see something wrong, call 911. That is urgent. They are also adding that if you are running out of prescription medication and if you are stranded on the road or know where somebody is stranded on the road, please call 911. Again, this situation, of course, very fluid. They are continuing to monitor what is going on with the National Weather Service, with state officials, and that is something else that we did hear about. The equipment being brought in by state officials is really something quite amazing. Governor Cuomo earlier said that this was the largest effort made of this kind. He is bringing in more than 1,000 staffers, as well as hundreds of pieces of equipment. I believe it's more than 800 pieces of equipment. They are also bringing in things to use as they are concerned about this flooding situation coming up on Sunday. And of course, Poloncarz addressing the issues with the Buffalo Bills as well, saying that he is in touch with Russ Brandon, saying that he knows the concern and saying that he just does not think that it is practical to have that game go on Sunday, that they just don't have the resources to staff it. Live in Cheektowaga, Rachel Elzafon, 7 Eyewitness News.
And our team coverage on the weather continues. The weight of this record-breaking snowfall now taking its toll, with roof collapses becoming more and more common. A trailer park in West Seneca is one of those places where people are in danger. 7 Eyewitness News reporter Matt Beauvais is there live now.
Laura, West Seneca has been one of the areas most heavily hit by this recent snowstorm, and you can see the piles of snow just absolutely stacking up, and this heavy snow is causing some people to evacuate their homes.
This is unprecedented. I've never seen snow like this.
Thick, dense snow sits upon the rooftops at the homes in the French Quarter Mobile Home Park, but these homes can't handle that much weight.
And I think these manufactured homes, mobile homes, only can take probably 2 or 3 feet at the very most, and right now I think we're looking at 5-6 feet of snow here.
So much snow on our roofs that we can barely, between the two of us, slam the door shut because everything is compact in the house.
But weight alone isn't the only problem for residents' roofs. Most homes have so much snow on their rooftops that their vents are covered, leaving them out in the cold.
Brutal. We were without heat for 2.5 days. We just got heat last night, finally.
And while some residents have to heat their homes with their ovens, others still haven't been able to even get inside.
My wife's got cerebral palsy. I'm trying to get into the house. I said to at least get to her. The snow is beyond even my control.
Now, right now, you're looking at crews trying to get to some of the homes. They haven't been able to get in yet. Once inside, they will investigate, inspect the homes, make sure the roofs are okay. If they are deemed to be unsafe, everyone is being forced to evacuate and stay at a shelter close by in West Seneca. Reporting live in West Seneca, Matt Beauvais, 7 Eyewitness News.
All right, thanks, Matthew. We have breaking news coming in right now from Cheektowaga. Fire personnel are at the Garden Gate Nursing Home, where a possible evacuation could take place due to the unsafe conditions there. We're awaiting word, an update right now from the police department in Cheektowaga. We'll have the latest information as that comes in. Laura?
All right, thank you, Keith. The weight of all that snow, too much to bear at a home in the town of Alma. Dan Jedreda sent us a picture of his Florida room with the wall collapsing in this lake effect storm. Similar situations all over the hardest hit areas here in Western New York. You can send us your pictures on Facebook or Twitter, as well as on our website, WKBW.com. Our hashtag Snowvember has been trending throughout our extended coverage this week.
Now, here's the latest right now. This lake effect snow band shifting a little bit farther south today, impacting places now like Dunkirk and Fredonia down in Chautauqua County. 7 Eyewitness News reporter John Cossack from our sister station WEWS in Cleveland. John used to be with us here in Buffalo, driving up to lend a helping hand to cover this weather situation here in Western New York this week. He's live right now in Fredonia. John?
Keith, I had to be back in the middle of this. How could I pass up this opportunity to be part of something so historic? We're on the southern edge of that lake effect snow band that Andy was talking about. We just had the sun trying to peek through a couple of seconds ago from the south, and as you can see, we're back in the middle of a squall. It has been falling heavy at the rate of 1 to 3 inches an hour at different times throughout the course of the day. We're only about a quarter of a mile from the entrance of the New York State Thruway. It remains closed at this hour, even though the fact that many of the cars and trucks have been cleared off it. Many of those trucks are here in this Walmart parking lot where they have been camped out for the last 2.5 days, and they're waiting for this, the second phase, as the governor called it a little bit earlier, to pass out of Chautauqua County so they can eventually reopen the thruway and get on their way. The good news is, as it does taper off from time to time, the road crews down here in Chautauqua County have had the opportunity to get out on the road. We're only about 100 yards from Route 60. I just took a walk up there. It's down the wet pavement, and a lot of people are beginning to venture out in this part of western New York. They're used to the snow down here, and they know how to take it easy, but they do need some supplies, and they're stocking up, preparing for whatever might come if it is that 2 to 3 feet, which we think might be possible. Live down in Southtowns, John Kasich for Eyewitness News.
All right, John, I'm just curious, what's the mood of the people that you're speaking with down there? I mean, after being stuck for 2 or 3 days, are they just ready to scream, or are they saying, well, it is what it is, we have to wait it out?
The good thing about the folks down here in Fredonia is they've been watching it from afar. They've been watching the snow fall up in South Buffalo and some of the other areas, and they haven't had to deal with it. When I got into town last night, it was just a couple of inches on the ground. It wasn't really until this morning that they themselves started to get hit, and that has enabled the folks up in Buffalo to begin to dig out. And so they're falling on the sword in a sense and taking a little slow for a while.
All right, good. Thanks, John. John Kasich live for us down in the Southtowns tonight, or Southern Tier, rather. Laura, back to you.
All right, thank you, Keith. The lake effect storm keeping some of our employees from getting into work, but of course, with today's technology, they can still file reports from home. 7 Eyewitness News reporter Ed Riley has been doing just that all morning. He's updating us now from his situation in Hamburg.
Here in the town of Hamburg, residents woke up to find that nearly a foot of new snow fell on top of the 48 inches that's already here. And with more heavy snow expected to blow into Hamburg very soon, police are once again warning everyone to stay off the roads.
To stay home, do not be on the streets, don't drive on the streets. Even I've seen some people walking on the streets. I don't recommend that either.
The problem is stuck cars like this one end up blocking plows and preventing emergency vehicles from getting to calls. Town of Hamburg police say the cleanup was making progress on main roads, but conditions today are slowing things down.
Some of the streets that were getting plowed have become drifted over again. I know the crews are out working on them.
Throughout the morning, bands of lake effect snow swept through the area with wind and even lightning and thunder.
I've kind of just been stuck in the house. Like, we shoveled yesterday. We're going to have to shovel again today.
The weight of the snow is a major concern, destroying trees and property.
We just heard this huge shake that shook the whole house, and we looked in the backyard and we saw the snow falling there, but then there was the entire gutter that outlaid the entire backyard that fell off the entire back length of the house.
And lots of nervous homeowners are fearful about roofs loaded with tons of snow. But police strongly warn everyone to not climb on them to clean the snow off.
The snow hanging off of everybody's houses, I mean, it's pretty bad, so everybody's got to have the same problem.
After being off work for a week, the impact is being felt in the pocketbook.
I got a 4-year-old at home and a house to support, so it's tough.
And supplies are starting to run short.
A bunch of gas stations in there, they're closed because they have no gas, or they're running this side of dry.
And with the Snowvember storm not done yet, it is amazing, even for people who come from places far up north.